SAP is the most critical system in the enterprise, and also one of the hardest to change. Every new requirement typically turns into a development project. Specifications, transports, testing cycles, and long-term dependency on IT. Insight Zap was built to change that. Insight Zap allows organizations to enhance, automate, and distribute SAP data directly in production, without code and without modifying SAP standard objects, while fully preserving SAP clean core principles. What traditionally takes weeks or months of development can now be done in minutes by governed business users, dramatically shortening change cycles and bringing real agility back to SAP organizations. Insight Zap is developed by Dpro, an SAP-focused software company with over 15 years of experience delivering SAP native productivity and governance solutions. It is an SAP-certified ABAP-native productivity layer that runs directly on the SAP application server. No SAP objects are modified, no data is duplicated, and no business data is moved outside SAP. All enhancements run as an additional execution layer, fully transparent to SAP upgrades, patches, and innovations, including ECC to S/4HANA migrations. Insight Zap supports both ECC and S/4HANA and enables a smooth, low-risk transition between them. Insight Zap includes several utilities. Today I'll focus on two of them. Insight Creator, which allows users to enhance SAP reports with logic, structure, and visuals. Insight Publisher, which allows organizations to distribute SAP data securely, automatically, and at scale. Before diving into Insight Creator, I'll start with a standard SAP transaction, FBL1N. I'll run the transaction, select a predefined report variant, and execute it. This is a standard SAP report showing vendor line items. In this case, it's displayed as the older ALV list format rather than an ALV grid, which is still very common in productive SAP systems. Now let's see how this report is enhanced using Insight Creator. To do that, I'll run the transaction DPS/rainbow-ALV. Before continuing, it's important to clarify something critical. Insight Zap runs as a certified ABAP add-on directly in production. We do not modify SAP standard objects or custom reports. We do not duplicate or export business data. All enhancements are applied dynamically as an execution layer, fully compliant with SAP clean core principles. This means SAP upgrades, support packages, and S/4HANA migrations remain fully transparent to the customer. I'll click Create Variant, give it a short description, select the same report variant and ALV layout, and choose to go through the selection screen. When I execute the report again, I get the same data, but now it's displayed as an ALV grid. Visually, nothing has changed yet. Same columns, same data, but now we're inside the Insight Creator environment. Before enhancing the report, it's important to clarify user roles. Designers can enhance reports, creating logic, columns, charts, rules, and layouts. End users consume reports, viewing, filtering, commenting, and acting on data. Beyond SAP's native authorizations, Insight Zap enforces its own role-based controls. Only authorized users can change logic or structure, and only in reports they are explicitly allowed to modify. At every step, SAP's original authorization checks are enforced. A user cannot access data they are not authorized to see, and Insight Creator does not bypass SAP security in any way. Now this is where the real value begins. From the top menu, I can add new objects, such as columns, groupings, charts, authorizations, functions, variables, KPIs, conditional formatting, and pivot tables. Let's look at a simple example. In this report, we have a posting date column showing the full document date. I want to extract just the month to make the data easier to analyze. In Excel, this would be simple. In SAP, it normally isn't, but with Insight Creator, it is. I'll click Columns, choose Create New Column, and select a Formula column. Insight Creator supports several column types: Formula for calculated logic based on existing fields, Input, which allows users to enter and persist values directly in the report, Long Text to bring descriptive SAP texts into the report, DB Lookup to enrich data from SAP tables, Table to cross-reference data sets, and Aggregation to calculate totals and KPIs. For this example, I'll continue with the Formula column. I select a predefined month data element, rename the column heading to Month, and confirm. This opens the Formula Builder. On the left, I see all existing columns. On the right, a large library of predefined functions, hundreds of functions available out of the box, similar to what you'd expect in a spreadsheet editor. I select the Date Get Month function, add the posting date field, and confirm. And just like that, I have a new column showing the month extracted from the posting date. Next, let's create a conditional formatting rule. I want to highlight records where the amount in local currency exceeds a certain value. I'll create a rule and set values above 20,000 to be highlighted in green. After confirming, the relevant records are highlighted instantly. I can toggle the rule on and off, or filter records by color using the Advanced filter. Now, let's make this more dynamic. I'll create a variable called threshold amount, set it as a user input with a default value of 0, and confirm. Then I'll update the conditional formatting rule to use this variable. Now, when I change the threshold value, for example to 30,000 or 400,000, the highlighted records update immediately. This transforms static reporting into an interactive, user-driven experience. To save time, I'll switch to another version of the same report prepared in advance. On the left, you can see a hierarchy tree grouping data by industry and then vendor. Clicking any group filters the data instantly. On the right, you see several charts created with just a few clicks, fully interactive and always based on live SAP data. Next, let's look at pivot tables. This pivot table shows a monthly breakdown of total net price per industry. Just like in Excel, I can drill down from any cell to the underlying records, entirely inside SAP. Up to now, I've shown analytical enhancements, but Insight Creator reports are not just analytical, they're operational. Because everything runs inside SAP, users can act directly on live data. For example, I can add input columns that allow users to enter values, such as amount differences, which persist across sessions. Users can add comments to records and collaborate directly within the report. Comments are stored in the report, and automated email notifications are sent, including a direct navigation link back to the exact data in SAP. I can also share data directly from the report. I select relevant data, click Send with Outlook, choose a file format, and confirm. Outlook opens automatically with the data attached, including charts and navigation links back into SAP. All I need to do is add a recipient and send. So far, everything was shown in SAP GUI. Now, let's display the same report as an SAP UI5 Fiori application. I will select the report and click the SAP UI5 button. Within seconds, the report opens in the browser as a fully functional SAP UI5 Fiori application. Traditionally, converting reports to UI5 requires weeks or months of development, significant cost, and risk. With Insight Zap, any report can be exposed as UI5 with a single click, without rewriting logic and without development. You can resize tables, rearrange elements, and customize the layout. The application is fully responsive and works on desktop, tablet, and mobile. Switching back to SAP GUI, let's look at AI. Earlier this year, we introduced Zappy, our AI assistant. Zappy has two modes. The first one is Ask AI, which is aimed at end users. It allows users to ask free text questions, get insights, and even act on the data they see. The second mode is Gen AI, which is aimed for report designers. It allows them to create new artifacts, such as columns, charts, and groupings, using natural language instead of clicking through menus. Let's start with Ask AI. The interface is similar to common AI chat tools. I can ask questions in natural language. For example, I'll ask, "How many documents are there?" Zappy responds with the number of unique documents, which I can easily validate against the data. I can also ask more advanced questions, like listing the number of documents per industry. And I can even ask for visual results, such as creating a pie chart based on the data. Zappy fully respects SAP's security model. Authentication, authorization, and audit trail are enforced exactly as they are in SAP. If a user does not have permission in SAP, they do not have access via Zappy. The AI operates within the existing security architecture. It does not bypass, extend, or reinterpret governance rules. Business data never leaves SAP. Only metadata and instructions are processed by the AI engine. Now I'll switch to Gen AI. Anything I previously did through menus, I can now do using natural language. For example, add a new DB lookup column of the vendor's country key. Without AI, this would require deep technical knowledge, identifying the correct table, field, and mapping. Zappy automatically identifies table LFA1, field land1, and sets the mapping correctly. What previously required a functional specification and an ABAP developer is now done in seconds using natural language. I can also create charts, modify hierarchies, and extend logic all without code. And lastly, Zappy 360. Zappy 360 extends this concept across multiple reports, allowing AI to operate across separate data sources within a single, unified context. In this example, I have one data source with sales orders and another data source with customer master data. Now, I'll ask, list the number of sales orders per customer, including the customer name. The sales order data does not include customer names. Zappy 360 automatically merges the data from both sources. I get a combined result, and when I open the explanation, I can see exactly how the data was joined and how the result was synthesized. Rather than being confined to a simple, static report, we can now work within a complete data context where multiple SAP reports are connected on demand. Zappy 360 automatically handles the joins and provides full transparency into how the data was combined, turning previously fragmented information into a cohesive, explainable result. This enables a new way of interacting with SAP data, asking questions across multiple data sources, live, securely, and directly inside SAP. Now let's move to Insight Publisher. Insight Publisher allows you to distribute SAP data in any file format using different delivery methods. Think of Insight Publisher as your automated data concierge. Instead of manually exporting and emailing spreadsheets every Monday morning, Publisher handles the heavy lifting, formatting, splitting, and distributing personalized SAP data automatically. Insight Publisher operationalizes SAP data distribution. It removes manual reports, recurring spreadsheets, and ad hoc effort by automating delivery at scale. I'll create a publisher directly from this Insight Creator report. I select the source report, variant, and layout. Next, I choose the file format. For this demo, I'll use Excel. Then I'll select the distribution method. Options include email, SMS, FTP, file download, and snapshot. Snapshot allows you to save historical versions of report data over time. For now, I'll demonstrate email. I select the recipients, add a subject and message, enable attachments and navigation links, and save. The job is executed using SAP's standard job scheduling mechanism. Once it completes, I can view the outgoing email in Transaction SOST. The Excel attachment includes all enhancements from Insight Creator, including calculated columns and conditional formatting. The navigation link takes the recipient directly back into SAP. Finally, I'll show one more powerful publisher capability. Instead of sending a single file to a single recipient, I can split the data dynamically. In this example, I split the report by vendor and define dynamic recipients accordingly. After scheduling and running the job, multiple emails are sent, one per vendor. Each recipient receives only their relevant data, fully governed by SAP authorizations. This makes large-scale, secure, automated SAP data distribution simple and repeatable. With Insight Publisher, SAP data delivery becomes automated, governed, and scalable, fully inside SAP with no manual effort. With Insight Zap, SAP reports become applications, change cycles shrink from months to minutes, and AI becomes a governed, trusted capability, all inside SAP without code. If you want to reduce development dependency, accelerate SAP change, and stay fully aligned with clean core principles, we'd be happy to show you what Insight Zap looks like in your own environment. Thank you for watching.